Namaste, Vanakkam, Swagatam, Namaskaram. It gives me great pleasure to be with all of you on this auspicious occasion of the 6th International Day of Yoga during the webinar organized by the Central University of Kerala. I congratulate Professor Gopakumar G, the Vice Chancellor, Dr. Radhakrishnan Nair, the Registrar, and Dr. Subramania Pailo, the Head Department of Yogic Studies, as well as the deans, faculties, and students of this wonderful university. Today, I am pleased to share with you some thoughts on an important concept of yoga and yoga therapy, that is salutogenesis. And this term may be new for many of you, hence I'm going to do my best over the next 15 to 20 minutes to share with you this concept, understanding salutogenesis and yoga therapy. I am Yogacharya Dr.Ananda Bhavanani, Director Citer of Sri Balaji Vidyapeeth and Chairman ICYER at Ananda Ashram, Puducherry. I am representing our university, where the focus of our Center for Yoga Therapy Education and Research is salutogenesis. To take us back a little bit, we have had a journey from CAM to TCI. What is this? CAM is complementary and alternative medicine, and TCI is the traditional complementary and integrative medicine. So whereas CAM has a tendency to say either you or me, there is a dichotomy happening there. In TCI, traditional complementary and integrative medicine, we are all working together. And that is why this journey from alternative to complementary to integrative is the journey that yoga has been making. And where does it fit in? Yoga is our cultural heritage, and people only think of the traditional aspects. But in modern times, we are having the link happening between modern medical science and the ancient art and science of yoga. We have international associations like the IAYT, where amazing work is being done with a PubMed indexed peer-reviewed journal. Numerous books coming out on the concepts of yoga and modern medicine. And if you go into PubMed and you search, at least 5,000 plus results for yoga therapy coming up nowadays. At our center, Citer of Sri Balaji Vidyapeeth, we are very unique because we have it in a medical institution for the past decade. And quality, life-enhancing benefits have been benefited by about 70,000 participants. We are educating future yoga therapists through certification, diplomas, MPhil and PhD, creating awareness amongst medical, dental, nursing, and other professionals, scientifically researching the hows and whys of yoga with 110 publications and 9 CMEs. In fact, currently we are also conducting our international webinar on 18, 19, 20 that is focusing on the role of yoga in times of COVID-19. Our team, made up of very eminent personalities, including Professor Madan Mohan as our advisor, along with 25 others who are eminent international people, and our own team with Dr. Meena, Sri Dayanidhi, and others. Our focus is salutogenesis, which is the moving from pathogenesis. Pathogenesis is a focus on the factors that are responsible for disease. Salutogenesis is rather on the factors that enhance health, help us maintain and sustain a state of health. So salutogenesis, the term itself, is a derivation from Greek and Latin. The Latin salus, which means health, and Greek genesis, which means source. In combination, the sources of health. And the heart of salutogenesis is a sense of coherence, which is a pervasive, long-lasting and dynamic feeling of confidence that one's internal and external environments are predictable, and there is a high probability that things will work out as well as can be expected. Antonovsky, who coined this term in recent times, has given this beautiful concept, sense of coherence. And this sense of coherence, SOC, has strong positive correlations to perceived health, mental health, and quality of life. The three components of the sense of coherence include the first one, which is cognitive. That is, my world is understandable. I can understand my world. The second is to do with coping skills. My world is manageable. And the third is motivation, which is my world has meaning. So when we have a sense that my world is understandable, my world is manageable, and my world has meaning, at that point, coherence is manifesting in us. And when we are coherent, we are healthy. When we contrast salutogenesis versus pathogenesis, pathogenesis is looking at what causes disease. It's looking about avoiding the problems. It's reactive and against pain or loss and prepares one to live. Whereas salutogenesis tries to help us understand what causes health. It's about reaching one's potential. It is proactive. It's about the presence of health for gain of growth, and we discover how to live life fully. We can consider this on that illness-wellness continuum, where we are sort of at the neutral point, and if we are not careful, we go down the illness side to premature death, disability, and other things. Whereas on the wellness continuum, awareness, education, growth, leading to a high level of wellness. This is the concept of yoga in promoting positive health. A beautiful concept of yoga is the promotion of positive health. To be a competent yoga therapist, we need to have intelligence and empathy, be willing to share, need to understand our limitations and realize we are not perfect, but be willing to embark on a continuously expanding learning curve. We need to remember the day we stop learning is the day we stop living. And the big no, no, no sign, stop sign, is the ego. When we look at the definition of health given by World Health Organization, we find that health is a dynamic state of complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Well, all these four domains of health, physical, mental, social, and spiritual, can be given to us by the great science of yoga. The Ashtanga Yoga, as codified by Maharishi Patanjali, gives us the yama and the niyama, the morals and ethical aspects of being human, which enhance our social health, the social health domain. The asanas and pranayamas, that are the techniques with which we can work with the body, enhancing the optimal function of the body. They induce and produce physical health. Pratyahara and dharana, which are the introspective aspects of going in rather than going out and letting the mind focus, they are amazing in the domain of mental health. And dhyana and samadhi, the state of meditation and absorption, they enhance our connection to the spirit and the spiritual health. The ancient Indian tradition gives us, even way back in 600 BC, Shushrut Samhita, Samadosha Sama Agnischa Samadatu Malakriya, Prasanna Atma Indriya Mana, Swastitya Bidi Yate. It tells us a dynamic balance of the elements and humors, the normal metabolic activity, and efficient elimination coupled with a tranquil mind, senses, and contented soul. And that is why yoga is truly the best means to achieve that dynamic sense of wholesome health, Purnam, at all levels of existence. The IAYT, in its earlier definition, talks about yoga therapy is the process of empowering the individual to progress towards improved health and well-being through the application of teachings and practices of yoga. It is so important to empower the person from within. They have to heal themselves. They have to be the best they. And we can only facilitate it. We can only help them. We can only support them. When we look at stress, the all prevalent stress, which is so much in these times of the pandemic of COVID-19, when the stressor comes in, we have the option either to go on the salutogenic pathway, where we manage that stressor. It becomes eustress, and we promote H+, positive health. Or on the other side, we don't know how to cope with the stress, and we break down. That is the pathogenic pathway leading to negative health, disability, disease, and premature death. A leap upstream has to be made in medical care from a pathogenic orientation to a salutogenic, where rather than worrying about better medical interventions, We improve our natural and built environment. Rather than focusing on curing chronic disease, we look at how we can cause health. Rather than paternalism and entitlement, a culture of active health by the individual. And rather than fixing parts of the system, we look at developing health assets. That is the concept of swasthya. Yoga as a therapy brings together the body, mind, and spirit because it creates healing, it reduces suffering, it restores function and creates community. So, multi-dimensional benefits of yoga as a therapy. And all of this is happening because of what is called psychoneuroimmunology. In yoga, we talk of Adija Vyadi, Anadija Vyadi, the psychosomatic and non-psychosomatic, and also the Vyadi Adi, which are the somatopsychic disorders. This is understood right from the time of the Yoga Vashishta, 5,000 years ago. And the modern term for it is psychoneuroimmunology. How you think, how you feel affects your nervous system, immune system, and endocrine system. And this is why when we look at the stress, it all starts with this perceived stress. The environmental stressor, the trauma and abuse, the individual differences, the behavioral response, all of them, they work on the concept of the perception of stress. And once you perceive something as stressful, all the physiological cascade of the stress response comes in. And the body is constantly fighting it, the allostasis. The allostasis is the altered homeostasis that is constantly fighting it. And when the allostatic load becomes too much, disease manifests as we break down. And this is why if you look at the hypothalamo-pituitary adrenal axis and the sympathetic nervous system, we find that all the cascade of stress at all these different points, yoga is actually working as an antidote, a vaccine against stress. And a beautiful study done by Strater and colleagues has shown that stress induces autonomic imbalance, a decreased parasympathetic, increased sympathetic activity with underactivity of the GABA system, gamma-aminobutyric acid, which is the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, and an increased allostatic load. What does yoga do? Well, their papers have shown us that yoga helps correct the underactivity of parasympathetic and GABA and works on the vagal nerve, thus reducing the allostatic load. If you reduce the allostatic load, you are going to prevent the breakdown that then leads to disease. The key is relaxation. Rather than stress, we want to work on the relaxation. And that is why relaxation is the key to healing. It is the prerequisite for healing, and we cannot heal when we are stressed. We have to educe from within the relaxation response. And this, to me, is yoga's greatest contribution to modern healthcare. In modern healthcare, we have amazing tools to help people through surgery, emergency care, life-saving ICUs. But we don't have anything to help them heal themselves. When yoga comes as an integrative component of the modern medical healthcare system, the individual patient learns how to heal themselves. By relaxation, they start to heal themselves. And that is where the psychoneuroimmunology again comes back. When you can help the person relax the mind, when you can help them let go of emotional volatility, when you can help them deal with a beautiful, slow, deep breathing, and when they learn to relax the body, mind, and the spirit, at that point, naturally the nervous system, the immune system, and the endocrine system, they start to function at the optimal level of health and wellness. This is why yoga places great importance on a proper and healthy lifestyle, whose main components are achar, vichar, ahar, vihar, and vyavahar. The achar, the healthy physical activities and exercise, which are the right thoughts and right attitudes. Ahar, a healthy, nourishing diet with good hydration, a sattvic diet. Vihar, a good relaxation and recreation to let go of the tensions. And vyavahar, healthy relationships for social health. We need to focus on wholesomeness, the purnam, and salutogenesis, swasthya, and move consciously from dukkham, the suffering, pain, and disease, to sukham, wellness, joy, and that sense of we being our best self. That is the concept of swasthya, where we are established in our own essential nature, swarupe avasthanam, And when that swasth manifests, there is no space for any disease to come in. At our deemed to be university, Sri Balaji Vidyapeeth, every medical, dental, nursing student and student of the allied health sciences, physiotherapy and pharmacy, they from day one of their training through the program of Yoga Abhyasa, a step towards salutogenesis. This tries to bring into their student life the beautiful art and science of yoga as something that they can live, they can practice, and they can share. And when we do that, we are changing the entire way the future healthcare system perceives yoga. Yoga is not a threat to the healthcare system. It is a wonderful companion. It is a beautiful companion who can work with the health system. And when the modern medical health system and the system of yoga work together, we are definitely working towards health and wellness for all. All of this requires a beautiful attitude, which is gratitude. We need to be grateful for the life we have been given, a life where we can make the choice to serve others. When we serve others, we are serving ourselves. When we share, we are caring. And that is the moment where we realize that we have been given this great opportunity to help others. If we can help even one person in our lifetime, our life is well lived. With this message, on behalf of Sri Balaji Vidyapeeth and CYER, the Center for Yoga Therapy Education and Research, I once again thank the Vice Chancellor, Sir, the Registrar, the head of the Department of Yoga Studies, the deans, the faculty members, and everyone connected with this grand event. I thank you for this opportunity to be with you. And I wish this event a grand success. And I hope that in the near future, I'll have an occasion to personally visit you and share my love for yoga, my life of yoga with you. May we all be blessed by our great mother, the art and science of yoga itself. Om. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. Om.